Yo, what's up? Here's another video by Sadagaskar, and it's called The Worst Subjects in School. I'm currently in university. I'm not in high school anymore, but you know what I'm saying? I'm a human being. I've been to school. I think I have a good perspective on these type of things. So, let's see.
Alright, so one thing that no one ever told me before I went to college is the fact that before you start your major classes, like the ones that actually teach you what you need to know before you get a job, you have to take a bunch of random classes that fulfill requirements set by the university. And
I'm only in second year, so I don't know, and I'm in economics. So for all intents and purposes, I've I may not know anything, but I've taken the classes like micro, and a whole bunch of stuff they put under economics. So I'm not sure how it works over there in America, but over here, at least for me, I already know what I'm supposed to know to get a job. Heavy quotation marks, because you know what? I am not at a point where I could divulge this type of information on the internet. So I'm just gonna.
if you don't, you can't graduate. As a matter of fact, you can't even sign up for the classes I was talking about earlier. Now, the reason that I'm even complaining about this is because in order to graduate, you need to fulfill a lot of requirements, and a lot of them have nothing to do with your actual major. So as a result, for the first 2 years of your college career, maybe even 3 if you're dumb like me, you just take a bunch of bullshit like high school level classes that have nothing to do with your major and are completely useless for you, and you're fucking paying for it. Like, take me for example, okay? I'm a third-year marketing major with a minor in psychology. Why the fuck am I taking a health and nutrition class? The worst part about it, I feel like professors, whenever they have to teach these sort of classes, they kind of know, like, why everyone's taking the class, so they just kind of fuck off, and the classes are literally just bullshit, and I'm paying for them. Like, look at this fucking assignment, okay? We had to make a food log. I am a junior in college, and this pattern of the school just abusing.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. When people say school is a scam, university is a scam, so on and so forth, I'm not on that side of you shouldn't go to school at all. It's not important. School is important, but when you hear people say stuff like this, it's like, if I wanted to learn how to cook, I would have been in a culinary school. He is in marketing, and he should learn how to market. Not sure why it's a 4-year program when most of it is place, product, blah, 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 price, and everything under the bar of marketing. But, you know, you're already here. Once you're a year in and you make it to year 2, you might as well make it to year 3. Hopefully you make it to you have to make it to year 4 now. And then you have to graduate and hope to God that you can actually get a job. Will you get a job? I don't know. You went to school for marketing and you end up making fries. Life.
Using me for money is very consistent throughout my college career. Like, look at my fucking freshman classes, bro. Okay, you know, econ, stat, that's chill, but then boom, African American history, goddamn cinema as art, fucking accounting. I am a goddamn marketing major. Why the fuck am I taking these classes? Environmental sciences, astronomy, hello? Art 133? Like, come on. Thank God I'm a YouTuber. And you know, for a while, I was just like, why? Why am I doing all of this? But then I realized since you're paying tuition, the more classes you take equals more money for the school, so obviously they're gonna make you take a bunch of bullshit classes in order to graduate, because that's why you're even going to the school in the first place. Either way, that's why I'm making this whole video. Back when I was in high school, I pretty much had the same mindset to just about all of my classes, mainly because I really didn't see a point. I think after I learned about sine, cosine, and tangent and read like a 3,000-year-old book in English, I realized, yeah, I'm not gonna use any of this in my real life. And I just saw high school as
Facts. No cap. I grew up during like COVID times. I'm 20, so I was in grade 9 and 10 and part of grade 11 during COVID. Can't tell you anything I learned Do not remember. I know. What do I know? Hmm. You know what? That is why I make YouTube videos, and that is why I will not quit, because right now I should be studying for a test exam final for a class that I probably should, that I need to pass, but been doing that for a couple hours, couple days, and ugh.
Something you needed to graduate, then you go to college and actually learn the important shit there. Obviously, that is not the case, as I just explained, but because of this mindset, I have a bunch of funny stories of stupid shit I would do in my high school classes.
Jesus.
Before we dive into all of that, I do need to address the sponsor of today's video, Question AI.
They don't pay me.
AI something, question tablet, or even immediately. Think because they will give you kill them.
Use ChatGPT.
All the % off. And some stupid we got code is honestly kind of mellow. We pretty much just bullied a foreign Chinese teacher. Basically, right before my freshman year, both of our school's Chinese teachers ended up finding new jobs, so the school was like scrambling to find a replacement. And despite being a prestigious all-boys Catholic high school, the best thing to do was...
Oh, wait, can I say that?
...was like fresh off the boat. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that was an exaggeration, but she was definitely on some sort of like work visa because this bitch could not speak English. And about a week into the school year, this becomes abundantly clear to all of her students, so they just start fucking with her, okay? They start playing dog whistles in class, birds chirping, fucking monkey noises, or really just saying whatever the fuck you wanted.
I'm not even gonna lie. My school, at least when I got to high school, right, it was not that bad. We didn't have, in his case, foreign teachers, but when we had supply teachers, for like 90% of the time, we would actually do our work and things of that nature. It's elementary school, yeah. Do I have any stories? I mean, just the normal stories of thick teachers, pretty teachers, annoying teachers, and elementary school. I mean, John Cena did. John Cena was my supply teacher one time, or some guy that looked like John Cena. Who else? Nah, my elementary school career, when I was in elementary school, it was nothing crazy happened to my memory.
And for every single exam, one kid who spoke fluent Mandarin because his family is Chinese would go up to the front and ask her to grade his paper, and as she's grading the paper, he would have all the answers on another paper, hold it behind his back while he's talking to the teacher, and everyone in the class taking the test would just copy his fucking answers. And the craziest part about me knowing all of this is that I wasn't even in the class, okay? I took fucking Spanish. During my freshman year, we had a free period third block, okay? And third block was also the same time my friend had his Mandarin class. And the teacher doesn't know what the fuck's going on. She's just like, oh, hello. So it's like we just walk in during our free period and sit in the class as if we're students and just participate in the tomfoolery.
Oh my god, bro.
Video evidence because we couldn't have our phones at this school, but we did a copious amount of unhinged shit. For example, my friend had a box of markers and just fell and threw the markers everywhere. We would also play Gangnam Style like all the time in that class, which was just fucking hilarious because that song's Korean. I tried to start a finger painting club in that class, which I actually do have video evidence of. So there's a new club starting called the Finger Painting Club.
Bro. I swear to God, all just one gender schools are the worst idea possible, because having a bunch of guys in one place, tomfoolery is going to happen. I know some of you who have like even more than one friend. If you guys sit and just talk for 10 minutes, you guys will come up with the dumbest things known to humanity and really talk about a bunch of foolishness because I don't know if it's just testosterone or I don't know, whatever the male body does when it's around other whatever the male body does, it's a bad idea to have just a bunch of dudes in one place. It's a, I'm not sure why they did that. It will never turn out good.
Yes, can I sign up, please?
I remember one kid in that class actually got expelled our freshman year because he made his name Jizzy Boy on the Kahoot. But finally, all of this came crashing down when one day my friend was sitting in the class pretending to be a student and called the teacher mom on purpose. Now, the reason I find that so funny is because we would call her other names, like way worse than mom, but I don't think she knew what they meant and would just run with it, right? But since mom is such a popular word in the English dictionary, she knew what that meant, and she was like, hold on, why the fuck are you calling me mom? She then kicked him out of the class and then reported all of us for loitering in her class, which turns out that she knew it was happening the whole time. She just didn't care, which is also really fucking funny. But yeah, she ended up quitting the next year, I think. I don't think she works there anymore. So
Damn.
maybe it was because of us. Maybe she wanted to go back to China. I don't know. She was also a terrible teacher. Like, she didn't know fucking English. So, yeah, that's the first story.
The hiring process for schools is just show up.
All right, so this next story is more about my teacher more than anything, but I guess I'll still tell it. Basically, in my English class sophomore year, we had to read To Kill a Mockingbird. Don't ask why we were reading that in high school. I read that at my...
If this is the book I remember when I was in grade 10, this is during COVID, right? I'm the only black kid in my English class. When I was reading the book, I saw the N-word a bunch of times because it's a book about, black people and, it's about, can I even say that, racism or being race, cis. And I realized I was the only black kid in my class. Like, what? I'm pretty sure after the school year was done because we were only in class for 2 or 3 days out of the week. So I wasn't out here inspecting everybody's faces and things of that nature. But when I realized I was the only black kid in that class, I'm like, that is actually hilarious because I know all of them thought the N-word. All of them said whatever slur came in that book. And that's just a funny thought to have a whole bunch of white kids, Indian kids, just saying the N-word in their heads, just being like, hold on, actually, just being like, so Sammy got called in their own room, looking around, hoping a black person doesn't just jump out of their closet in their all-white home.
Public school in 8th grade, but still, we were doing it. And to start off the book, we did popcorn reading for the first chapter. Then fast forward a little bit, we get to page 41, okay? And for some reason, my teacher stops the kid reading and is like, hold on, I'll take it from here. Now, for those of you who don't know, To Kill a Mockingbird is about slavery, and page 41 is the first page in the book where they use the N-word. And I kid you not, this kid gets to the sentence right before they use the word. The teacher stops him, he's like, yo, I'll take it from here. And we all see the word on the book. We think he's about to give us a lecture on the N-word and why it's inappropriate. This motherfucker starts reading. And without context, without warning, he just rips the hard R. And immediately we all hear this. We're like, yo, that did not just fucking happen. And he's like, guys, relax, calm down.
It's just a word.
It was written and the time it takes place, it was normalized, and I don't want want to take away from the integrity of the, like, shut the fuck up. You just said the hard R. Now, luckily, there weren't any black kids in my class. I wonder if he would have done that if there were. But pretty much, he basically just explains how it's not a big deal and how he's going to continue saying the N-word because of the integrity of the book, you know, for art purposes, I guess you could say. But either way, class wraps up and we leave, and that's like the talk of the town for like the next week. And fast forward like another week, we're on chapter 2, and we were doing the popcorn reading. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I totally forget who was reading. They were behind me when this happened, but basically, the N-word comes up again, and one of the whitest kids you have ever seen is currently reading the book. And I mean, you can probably assume what happens next. He gets to the part where it says the N-word, and he doesn't just say it, okay? He fucking rips it. I remember the context was that he was calling someone an N-word lover, and it was almost as if Abraham Lincoln just fucking possessed him himself, because, like, the way he said it, his tone just made it the most racist thing I've ever heard.
I don't say the word.
Say, like, hey boy, it's not really that bad, but when you're like, hey boy, racist, like, it's kind of the same logic with him. His tone just made it so hateful. And you know, obviously, after he says that, everyone just starts dying laughing. The teacher is fucking.
As a black person who does not use the word for my own reasons, obviously, depending on the situation, will I laugh? Most likely. 90% sure that I will laugh. And I'm low-key part of the I'll low-key be one of the people that Dr. Umar does not appreciate, because I'm reasonable enough to be like, he's reading a book and we're in school. I don't care that much. I'm not the type of black person who's gonna get mad if someone who's not black says the N-word. I don't care. You know, it doesn't seem like something I should just crash out about. I don't use the word personally because I don't cuss. That's just me though.
Pissed and sends him to like the principal's office. But then he told them, he's like, yo, our teacher literally encouraged it. He said it breaks the integrity of the book if you just blur out the N-word, especially because of the context of when it was written. Blah blah blah. And the principal was like, what the fuck? The teacher said to say the N-word, and he's like, I know, right? And yeah, the teacher got fucking fired. So yeah, that is the story.
I'm not even gonna lie. Why did we have to read that book? People have known for years that the N-word was in that book, and my high school barely had any black people, right? So, and that has been the case for years, and that goes for a bunch of places in Canada who mostly have white or Indian people. Why is that book still part of the requirements out of the billions of books that have been written? Why that book? It could be the CIA trying to bring my people down. What do y'all think? That's, if I had to come up with something, that is it. It's a CIA trick.
Alright, so my sophomore year, I took biology, and we
Yeah.
actually had a really cool teacher. Like, he always pulled up in rare Jordans and had, like, a really cool car, so I honestly kind of feel bad that I did this. But basically, we were doing some assignment with M&Ms, and we had to, like, organize them or something. I don't know. We had a bunch of M&Ms, and we had to use them for the assignment. And, you know, me and my friends are fucking degenerates, so about halfway through the class when we're doing the project, we decided to throw the M&Ms at the teacher. So whenever he wasn't looking, all three of us would look down at our paper, one of us would look up, line up the shot, throw it, and immediately look back down. And when he turned around, he doesn't know who the fuck's doing it, everyone's working. So then he stops the class, he's like, yo, whoever threw the M&M, come up and tell me right now, you won't get in trouble. If I find out who did it though, you will be in a shit ton of trouble. Obviously, we didn't own up to it, and we kept working. And we did it again. We threw another M&M at him. So then he starts getting really mad. Okay, he starts raising his voice. He's getting mad at us. He's like, yo, this is so disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. We're trying so hard to keep in our laughter. And he's just crashing out over getting M&Ms thrown at him. Then he's like, yo, whoever's doing that, just stop, okay? Otherwise, I will make it my mission to find out who it is and punish you accordingly. And I'm not gonna lie, okay? He seemed pretty mad and very serious, so it kind of scared us a little bit. So we threw another M&M at him. And at this point, he's like, no, everyone stop, everyone stand up. And we all have to stand up at our table.
And that is why I will never be a teacher. I cannot be a teacher because I can't, bro. I don't want to go to jail. I'm like Tom Dubois from the Boondocks. I am terribly afraid of getting my butt taken in jail. And I know if I'm a teacher, I'm going to want to use my grown man strength to knock out. Can I even? To, if I were the teacher in this scenario, or the person in scenario A, because I'm not even sure what the guidelines are talking about A minors. But yeah, you understand what I'm trying to say. I would love to be Mike Tyson and just boom if I were the teacher. But I know I'll go to jail, probably get my butt touched, and I don't want that.
And not touch any of the M&Ms. And this motherfucker starts counting each group's M&Ms one by one. Apparently, every group is supposed to have at least 34 M&Ms, and we're like, fuck, dude, we only have 31. But guess what? Okay, it turns out that another group in the class also had only 31 Skittles because one of the motherfuckers ate 3 of them. Fucking fat ass. But here's the thing, okay, when the guy explained it to the teacher, he believed him because that group was in the front of the class, so the teacher could always see them. It couldn't have possibly been them throwing the M&M. So then we're like, fuck, what do? We are so fucked. But then I had an idea, okay, and honestly, this is like my best, most clutchest, quick thinking moment ever. Basically, while he was counting another group's M&Ms, I quickly took one from our pile. Then I go to my laptop and open up Google Chats because that's how people communicate at my school. You can't have your phones. And basically, I messaged my friend across the classroom, okay? He's in a group that's already been checked. And I'm like, yo, it was my group that was throwing the M&Ms at him. I'm gonna throw you this other M&M. I need you to throw the M&M at him while he's looking at my groups and counting the M&Ms, so that way he gets distracted and pissed off. And obviously clears us from suspicion because it couldn't be us who threw it. So when my teacher isn't looking, I end up throwing the M&M across the room. But here's the thing, okay, my friend doesn't fucking catch it. The kid misses, and it's a tiny ass mini M&M. So this motherfucker is like on his hands and knees looking for this red M&M. And I'm just like, dude, fuck, we're fucked. But as my teacher is counting the M&Ms, Matthew comes to the rescue. Okay, his real name is Matthew, but I don't give a fuck. Basically, Matthew ends up finding the M&M on the ground, like halfway through my teacher counting our M&Ms. And I guess Patrick Mahomes just fucking possessed him because he whips it at his teacher, hits him right in the head. You can hear like that noise. My teacher immediately jumps up. He's like, who the fuck was that? He's pissed. He's swearing and everything, and we're just like trying to hold in our laughter. And at this point, all the groups are like on the side of the room. Like we're all hugging the wall. So like he has no idea who the fuck it could have possibly been, and he just throws in the towel. There's like 5 minutes left of the period. He's just like, go, just leave, get out of here. But if I'm being totally honest, I honestly kind of feel bad. Like that guy was chill. I fucked with him. I don't think he works at that school anymore. So, Mr. D'Amato, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry.
Damn.
Me and Jackson, we were throwing the M&Ms at you. So, yeah, that's the story. We pretty much just made our chemistry teacher crash out. Alright, so I don't really know what to put in the final thoughts section of a story time video, so I guess I'll just talk about college more, because that's not a scam. I don't think it's a scam, but that's how they get you, bro. Remember how I was talking about the bullshit classes I had to take and how I have to pay for it? Why the fuck am I taking these classes? That's how they get you. Like, yeah, you'll get a degree, but we're also gonna make you take all these dumbass classes and spend all this money so we can get more of it. Like, genuinely, what the fuck is the point of all of these classes? Why am I taking accounting as a marketing major, you know? But yeah, that's pretty much going to be the video, guys. If you liked it, subscribe. If you didn't, fuck you. Moral of the video.
Well, I'm just going to wrap it up there. Like, comment, subscribe, and stay in school until you don't have to.